Hello, welcome back to the S&P workshop. We are getting ready to do a demo of what I am calling the Rallyfield rule set, which is an alternative hybrid form of baseball that is somewhere in between traditional baseball and banana ball. So I've kind of adapted some of the banana ball rules. If you're familiar with that, then you'll know where I'm going with this. There's really three fairly simple things to understand about how this is going to work. Each inning is basically a match, so it's a match play approach to baseball, and each inning is worth 1 point. So you win the inning, you get a point. 7 innings is what I am setting as the regulation, the end of regulation. So the 7th inning is called a rally inning, and unlike the other innings that are worth 1 point, in the 7th inning, all runs count. And banana ball also does this in their current rule set. So the reason I set the 7th inning as the rally inning is because it sort of approximates the 2-hour time limit that banana ball uses, and of course I didn't want to get into a timing mechanic for this game. So that's just a good tabletop way of handling it, I think. And then also in this game, pitchers are limited to 1 inning each, and a pitcher can be relieved if they're struggling in their 1 inning of appearance, but they're limited to that 1 inning unless you go into extra innings, and then you can bring a pitcher back, but not until all 12 pitchers, which is your default pitching staff. Once all pitchers have made an appearance, then you can bring back a pitcher for a second time. Okay, so those are the main things to understand. There will also be some additional optional rules in terms of how the scoring works, but that's really the basics. So let's grab a couple teams and let's just see what happens. All right, since the last video, you'll notice some changes to the charts. I've got them in landscape now, and some of the results have been tweaked a little bit, especially on the low end of the pitcher's chart. Let's see what else. Okay, so the teams I've selected are Kansas City Marshals. They're kind of my personal favorite team in this Heartland League that I've rolled up, and then the Santa Fe Locos. And so it's Kansas City at Santa Fe, which means game time conditions are going to be pretty interesting, right? At high elevation. So here's the game time conditions chart. Santa Fe is in the mile high profile, which means a 1 or 2 would be on the normal control chart. Otherwise, it's going to favor the hitters. So hopefully we'll see quite a bit of action in this, but it doesn't guarantee that that's the case. All right, so the game time conditions roll is a 4, and so we are favoring the hitters. And I'll set these 2 control tables aside. So a couple other interesting nuances of the Rallyfield rules are that you set your batting lineup like you normally would, I think, for a conventional baseball game, but you also kind of set up a pitching lineup, right? Because you're going to have a different pitcher assigned to every inning unless something interrupts that. So that's always something to think about. Which pitcher do you want to save, for that potentially crucial 7th inning? And of course, how do you want to start off also? And if you really want to overanalyze things, you can start looking at lefty-righty when you think, if there's a couple left-handed hitters together, etc. Whether you want to try to time that properly, into the 2nd or 3rd inning, whatever. At any rate, that's just baseball. But all right, so let's just go ahead and get started and see how this thing plays out. We've got Derek Collier for Kansas City, center fielder, The first inning pitcher for Santa Fe is going to be Nakai Thomas, and the wind, the high elevation is favoring the hitters today. The control roll is a 6. Pitcher command, Nakai Thomas is a 6. We add 9 to that for a 15 on the command chart, and he gets Collier to pop out. Shortstop, Oscar Atwood. Now, this says clutch or batter's best. Well, we know it's not clutch. The clutch conditions require 2 out and a man on base. So we're going to use the batter's best, which is his contact. And we roll an 8 plus 8 is 16. I bet that's a hit. And it is. Atwood is on with a single. His speed is 5. So I could go ahead and think about a possible steal here. And a chance to stay out of the double play. Or, since conditions favor the hitters, just let Zimmerman, who's got some significant pop, let him swing. Let's just do that. All right, I rolled a 1. Batter composure, wouldn't you know, that's his lowest rating, and I have a bad roll too. So the end result is composure 5, and that is a shallow fly out. So Atwood has to hold on that. Let me mention something else. So I'm using the term batter composure here, and pitcher composure. However, I've already decided to make the change that composure for the batters is going to be called poise. So that already appears at the top of this chart. And that will help distinguish the batter ability from the pitcher ability. So they're both not named the same thing as I go forward. So if you hear me use the term poise for a batter, then it's synonymous with composure. All right. 2 out, 1 on, and D-Train, Damondre Ross, the first baseman, is the cleanup man. The roll is a 2, pitcher composure. 4 plus 4 is 8. That is a walk unless the batter's poise / composure is 2 or less, and it is not. So Thomas, pitching carefully to Ross, walks him, and now we got 2 men on. It is a clutch, potential clutch scenario. So if I roll a 12, here we'll go to the clutch chart for the catcher, Benson Fox. 8, pitcher composure. 4, 12, 16. And that is a strikeout. So Thomas really keeps his cool and with runners on here in the first, and keeps it scoreless. But Kansas City does threaten with a hit and a walk. They leave 2 men stranded. And now the Locos get a crack at Jim Riggs for Kansas City. Batter's best, contact. 18 is the final result. That's a maxed out roll. And that is a double for George Allison. And they have some serious speed on base already. Speed of 8, if you can't see that. J.D. Little, first baseman. Pitcher commands 6 and 9, 15. And he gets a pop out. And that's not going to be able to move Allison along. Rod Logan, outstanding defensive shortstop here. One of the best in the league. 5. Batter contact. His contact is 5. The roll is 9 for a 14. And he's got a single. And that's just a short single. So the runner will go to third. Had there been 2 out, he would have scored. But with 1 out, they hold him. Runners at the corners and 1 out. Riggs has already got a bit of a jam here, doesn't he? Designated hitter, Robert Sparks, which brings me up to another point in the Rallyfield rules. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, use the generic batter cards for pitchers if you wanted pitchers to come up in the rotation and hit. However, I've elected to use DH by default because otherwise the score sheet could get really messy. Pitcher heat, 5 and 3, not a good roll. That's an 8. He's going to issue a walk unless the batter's contact is low, but it is not. And so Riggs, similar to the top of the inning, Riggs has to pitch carefully here and put Sparks on with a speed of 4. That loads the bases. Okay. Pablo Jalisco, the left fielder, outstanding, one of the best in the league at that position. Excuse me. The roll is to 2. It is pitcher composure. 6 plus 2 is 8. And that will be a walk unless the bases are loaded, in which case it is a ground ball double play. So Jalisco out on the grounder, and they get Sparks, basically forcing him at second, and that gets Riggs out of a jam in this inning, despite all the threats from both sides. Ends up being scoreless. All right. Now, Thomas is done for now. Remington Wolf. Or Remy. Jim Riggs is done also. We'll bring somebody else out. All right, top of the second. Wolf versus Big Sky, Skylar Vernon. Batter power is the result. 2 plus 6 is 8. It's not enough, is it? Nope, he's going to hit a line drive out. And again, if you want details on routine outs, you can get them off of a fact deck. I generally don't use them because it doesn't matter. In that case, the line drive, wow, was right back to the pitcher's mound off of that fact card right there. So that does add a little visualization to it. All right, let's see here. Big Sky. I marked that on the wrong part of the score sheet because I'm thinking about what I'm saying as opposed to what I'm writing. All right, there we go. 1 out on the line drive. That brings up Duffy Driscoll, the left-handed second baseman. Batter power is a 4 and 7 is 11. And he strikes out. Driscoll feeling the thin air. Thought he'd just really take a run at it. To no avail. Peyton Blackwell is the DH. Occasional right fielder. Batter power is a 3. That's not his strong suit. We get a 9 total, and he strikes out. So Wolf strikes out 2 and gets the line drive, so nothing doing for the Marshals. In the top of the second, Isaac Moss comes out to pitch the bottom half as Santa Fe tries to claim a lead in this game. Batter power, 5, 4, 9 total. And that, well, I've just hit that result again, haven't I? Another strikeout. So Isaac Moss takes down Cam Holland. And that brings up Julian Lascato, third baseman. 9, pitcher heat, 5 and 10, 15, struck him out. So Isaac Moss reaches back and really sizzles one in there to get Lascato. And Brendan Coleman Second baseman comes up. Pitcher composure, 4, 9, and 13 is the final result. And that is also a strikeout. Wow. He got 3 different kinds of strikeouts there. One off the power, and then one off the heat, and one off the composure. Outstanding pitching in that inning by Isaac Moss. All right. Let's bring out J.J. Valencia, top of the 3rd. Bottom of the order for Kansas City. 10 is the result. Batter contact, 5 and 7 is 12. He's got a single unless the pitcher's composure is high, but it's not high enough. So Blunt is on with a single, the left-handed third baseman. Not a lot of speed there, though. Derek Collier is up next, around to the top of the order. Pitcher command, 4 and 6 is 10. That's questionable. That ball is in play, and a fielder is going to have to work on this one. 99 on the field trouble chart, so this is a possible error. 99, that is hit out to right field. So Derek Collier with a long line drive to the opposite field. We're going to do a D10 range check, and this is going to be an out or a double plus an error on the play. So the right fielder for Santa Fe is a 4. This is his range. So if I roll a 0 through 4, he makes the play. It's a 2. He makes the play. The runner will advance on that regardless. So I'm going to put a star here for that left fielder. That is, who is that out there? That's at Jalisco, Pablo Jalisco out there making an outstanding running catch in right field. I take that back. Right field is Buchanan. Buchanan makes that play. There we go. All right, so at any rate, advances the runner to second for Oscar Atwood. Pitcher command. So we're hitting quite a few pitcher results here so far early in the game. 4 and 8 is 12 on command. And that is a ground out. It would be a double play if a runner was on first, but instead it's a fielder's choice. That runner holds. So runner still on second for Brett Zimmerman. Batter power, he's a 6, plus a 9, 15. This is trouble. All right, this says a power check home run or a deep fly out. So here we go. 0 through 6, Zimmerman's got some power, and this one is gone. It's an 8. It's caught right at the wall. That is going to be the third out. Wow, on a deep fly. My goodness. Zimmerman gave that a run and got just a little unlucky. Normally that would be gone. And so we remain scoreless. Valencia gets out of that unscathed. Darnell Curtis against Randy Buchanan. Buchanan is the star defender of this game so far with his highlight reel catch. 6, pitcher command, 5 and 9, 14. And he grounds him out. George Allison is next. He doubled on his first at bat. Batter composure, 6, 9 is the result. So 15 total. And he draws a walk unless the pitcher's composure is high, but it's not. Okay, so this is not just a walk. It's a special kind of walk. This is an auto steal. So Allison, it couldn't happen for a better guy, right? So he draws a walk, and the idea here is that the player has decided to steal, regardless of what the manager says. And so we need to roll and see what the stealing situation is. I roll a 1, so I know that this is a matchup against the catcher's arm. Let's see. I will look at this real quick. When speed is higher by 1 or 2, it's a -1 shift, okay? So, Allison's speed is 8. His arm is 5, a difference of 3, so it's going to be a normal check. So he's going to roll on the 8 column, so he'll only be out on a 1 or a 2. And the roll is a 12. Man, he is in there easily, not even close. So stolen base now for George Allison means that he has been on second base twice in 2 at-bats. And he's ready to score and give Santa Fe the lead in this game. I think I turned over, there we go. I need J.D. Little still up. All right, so Little steps up, 1 out, and a runner in scoring position. Batter's best, this is not clutch because it's not 2 out. His best is contact, and 11 and 7 is 18. And here we go. That is a double for Little and an RBI. Allison again scores easily, so he stole easily, he scored easily. And that's it. That ends the inning, right? So it's 1 point for 1 run scored, and Santa Fe leads this game 1-0. And Darnell Curtis is done, and we move on to the 4th. So this is one way that it sort of speeds up the game, is that you can have any given inning, really, you could have a walk-off for the home team. The visitors just want to pile on as many runs as possible, of course. So, 4th inning, D-Train, Demondre Ross against Ivan Ontiveros. Batter composure, 16 is the final result, and that is a single. So Ross is on base again. He walked his first time up. Benson Fox has got plenty of power. Good chance for Kansas City to even the score here in this game. Pitcher composure is a 5, 11, 16. Struck him out. Oof. Big Sky. Kansas City's got some power. Not huge power, but respectable through the heart of their lineup. Batter composure. Doggone it. 8. And well, let's see. Batter composure. Okay. I looked at the wrong chart. Fly out speed check for the 2nd out. That's optional. He's gonna, yes, he's out either way, and I'm considering whether I want to take that chance or not on the speed check. 0 through, so it'd be -1 off his speed. I'd have to roll 0 through 3, so no, I'm not going to do it. He's going to hold 2 out, 1 on for Duffy Driscoll. We have a lefty-on-lefty matchup here, so that might come into play. Batter contact, 4. Oh, he rolled a 12. 16, there's a single, and the runner will go around to 3rd. Wow, boy, wouldn't it have been nice, right, to have the runner on 2nd at that point. All right, runners at the corners. this blank token disc here just indicates that this runner is the same speed as the trailing runner is the same speed as the lead runner. All right, 2 out, 2 on for Peyton Blackwell. Let's hope he gets his contact coming into play here. The roll is a 3. Batter power is a 3. 9 makes 12. And that is a single plus, unless it's lefty-lefty, but it's not. That's a single plus. So that means a lot of things. Blackwell could try to stretch it to a double, but he's not that fast. This run scores. Driscoll, on the single plus, can advance 2 bases, and because it's the third out, or it's not the third out, because there's only 2 out, because there are 2 out, he can also gain an extra base on that. So he gets the jump, and that is a 2-run single for Blackwell. All right, a 2-run advantage now in the top of the 4th for Kansas City. And Ontiveros, they're taking a close look at him. He gets a lefty-lefty matchup here against Greg Blunt. And probably, if he doesn't get Blunt, we're going to have to relieve him. We'll see. Batter power, 4, 3, 7 is the final result, and there's a pop out. All right, so 2 runs scored for the visitors against Ontiveros. Now, Kyle Fletcher is tasked with the job of keeping that lead and evening up the game. He's up against Rod Logan. Batter power, 4, 11, 15. That is going to be a power check. My goodness. All right, power check. 0 through 4. Logan hits this one high and deep to center field. And caught. My goodness. Another deep fly out. That was close. Right on the warning track. 1 gone. It just turned out to be an exciting fly ball. DH, Robert Sparks. Pitcher command +2 is 7. Not a very good roll. And that is a ground out unless the batter's contact is 6 or better. And guess what? It is. So Sparks is good enough to turn that into a single instead. That's pretty cool. Sparks on with a hit. My chart's kind of cockeyed. I don't like it. All right, so 1 on, 1 out. So there's been a base hit and a deep fly ball. I'm kind of nervous about Fletcher here. And here's Pablo Jalisco up next. Better get him. Pitcher command, 5, 7, and 12 is the final. That is a ground out double play just at the right time. So they force out Sparks at second and get the out of Jalisco at first. And Fletcher, with the double play, bails himself out of trouble. So that was 2 runs scored by KC, and they grabbed the point. This game is tied at 1 in this match play format as we go to the 5th. Alphonse Ravello, left-handed, normally would be a reliever. He also has a power cut trait here, which we may or may not use. Top of the 5th and top of the order. Collier's 0 for 2 with a pop out and a hard hit ball to left. Pitcher's heat is 4 plus 2 is 6. That's a field action, so this ball is trouble. The ball's in play. Fielder's going to have to do something exceptional. So this is, maybe not. It is a grounder to third base. It would be a possible double play with runners on, but instead, without the runners on, there's no pressure on the fielder. And so that is just a ground out for Collier. That particular result compares, I think, speed versus arm to see if it becomes a fielder's choice or infield single, things like that. Let's see here. Atwood, he's 1 for 2. Batter's best, contact. 18 is a double. Yep. Outstanding. Double for Atwood, and his speed is 5. Okay, so now Ravello's looking a little bit vulnerable with Brent Zimmerman and D-Train coming up. Batter contact, 5, 3 makes 8. Struck him out. That was not the time for a strikeout, Mr. Zimmerman. And now here is the cleanup hitter, first baseman, D-Train, Demondre Ross. He is 1 for 1 with a walk. Pitcher heat is 4, 10, 14 total. And he pops out. So Ravello gets his act together to get 2 of the tougher hitters and leave a man stranded. I guess he should have been on second with that double. At any rate, doesn't matter. No runs, 1 hit in the top of the 5th. Leaves the door open for Santa Fe to take the lead. Against Solomon Branch. 6, pitcher command, 4 plus 12, 16, gets the strikeout. Cam Holland strikes out for the second time against Marshall's pitching. Julian Lascato, batter contact, his best. 5, 4 is 9. Not a great roll. It is a field action, unless the pitcher has a high command, and he doesn't. So field action. This ball's in play. Kansas City's got to do something about it. 35 is the field action result. This is chopped near the mound. The pitcher's range is 4 versus the batter's speed, which is also 4. If speed was higher, he'd be safe. But instead, Branch can pounce on that ball, make the throw to first in time. And that's an excellent play by Solomon Branch. Two gone. Brendan Coleman is up. Pitcher composure. 3 plus 2 is a 5. And he issues a walk unless the batter's composure is 0 or 1. Guess what? Coleman is a 1. He strikes out instead. Wow. His second strikeout of the day. My goodness. All right, so no runs in that inning and no points awarded. We go to the 6th. We're tied at 1. Hector Cervantes, pretty decent reliever coming out to go against Fox, Big Sky, and Duffy Driscoll for Kansas City. Pretty decent hitters. Woo! It's a double 12. It's the batter's best. Hits his power. 7. plus 12, 19. That thing is gone. No question about it. 19, that is a huge home run. That is well over the fence, and 420 feet plus goes that one. And finally, the conditions of the day prevail for Fox with a solo home run, and Kansas City is already staked an advantage here in the 6th, and they are trying to take the lead. Big Sky, Skylar Vernon is up next. He can also hit. 11 is pitcher's command. 5 plus 7 is 12. And he's going to get a routine ground out instead. So Cervantes shakes off the home run and gets another power hitter to ground out. And that brings up Duffy Driscoll, the lefty second baseman. Batter's best. Once again, we're going to go with composure. Oh, but I rolled a 1. So it's a total of 7. And he grounds out. That was unfortunate for Duffy. 2 gone for DH. Peyton Blackwell, 6. Command is 5, and 3 is 8. That's not very good. That will issue a walk. Blackwell with a speed of 3. So I could think about pinch running here. It's only the 6th. If I was in the 7th, I probably certainly would. Let's just roll with it here. 2 out, man on. This is potential clutch scenario. The roll is a 12. We are going to the clutch chart. Whoops, wrong side. I'm getting used to these new charts. I just reformatted these last week. All right, let's see. So going to the clutch chart, Blunt against Cervantes, and now we're going to get the actual pitch count for this scenario. 34 tells us this is happening with an 0-2 count. So therefore, it is the pitcher's advantage. We're going to compare his command of 5. Is it equal to or greater than the poise or composure of Blunt? And it is. Therefore, he strikes him out on 3 pitches. Blunt absolutely overmatched as Cervantes fires it in there with a perfectly placed pitch. And that's pretty neat. That adds a little narrative depth to the scenario with those, clutch doesn't come up very often, but when it does, it's pretty neat. Typically. So 1 run scored for KC. They hold that advantage over Santa Fe here. Benito Cocoteros, or just more commonly known as Coco, is going to come out to pitch the bottom of the 6th and try to hold this 1-run advantage. All right, Buchanan is where he's starting off, a left-hander. 6, pitcher command, 4 plus 11, 15. Popped him out. 1 gone. George Allison is up next. He is 1 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base and a run scored. Pitcher command, that's not his best. 7. That is going to be a ground out unless the batter has a contact of 6 or better, and he does, and he turns that into a single. Allison is on again. What a nightmare. All right, well, there is no question he's going to try to steal here. So let's see what we get. He rolls a 6, which means he gets a great jump, and he's going to roll in his speed is 8. So that he actually adds 1 to that. He's going to roll in the 9 column, so he can only be out on a roll of 1. The roll is a 1. He's woo! Caught stealing is the speedy George Allison. Oh, goodness gracious. I thought he'd have that easily, especially the way things unfolded last time he came around. Okay, so Allison eliminated. That was crucial. That's a crucial moment right there. JD Little now at the plate with 2 out and nobody on. As Coco tries to secure a point. It's pitcher command. He keeps hitting command. It's his worst rating. 7 and 11 is the result on the command table. And he strikes him out. Unless his poise, his poise can't change that. So, JD Little down on strikes after Allison is caught stealing. And that is how Kansas City takes the 2-1 lead in this game. And now we go to the 7th inning. All right. This has turned out to be a pretty good game. And of course, I save a stud pitcher for the 7th. This is Bob Bankston. He is an elite starter. He's got a fade of 8, but that doesn't matter in the Rallyfield rules. Nonetheless, he's a very effective pitcher, and he's a real nightmare if you have him on for a long time. So, Collier, we're at the top of the order, at the top of the 7th, and now this is a rally inning. So all runs count, if any are scored at all. 2-1, Kansas City. The roll is pitcher composure, 5, 9. So that's a 14 on composure. Shallow fly ball, and that is easily caught for a routine out. And Collier ends up going 0 for 4 on the day. He did get robbed on his second at bat, though, with a good defensive play. Oscar Atwood, the shortstop, he is 2 for 3. 9, pitcher heat. Oh, watch out. He's got heat to spare. He rolls an 11, and an 8 is 19, and that is a big boy strikeout right there. That is some serious heat. All right, 2 gone rather easily now as Brent Zimmerman steps in. He's 0 for 3. He did have a deep fly ball back in the 3rd. And he's trying to change his fortunes for the day. Pitcher command is 6 plus 11, 17. And that is a meager ground out for Zimmerman in a routine fashion. 1, 2, 3 go the Marshals against the great Bob Bankston. Okay. Evan Blackburn, now, if he can hold the Locos scoreless here in the 7th, Kansas City will win this game 2-1. And he has got some serious numbers. 8, 7, and 8 are his primary numbers. He's a major closer, typically, if used in a conventional way. All right, so the heart of the order coming up here. Logan, Sparks, and Jalisco. 4 is the roll. Pitcher heat, 7 and 8, 15. Struck him out. 1 down. Designated hitter, Robert Sparks. Pitcher composure, 8 and 8, 16. That's going to be a strikeout. Blackburn's not going to give them a chance, is he? Let's see. Let's see if Jalisco can change everything. We're still favoring the hitters, so there's a chance. 2, pitcher composure, 8, 6, 14 on that chart, and there's a shallow fly ball, and that is caught in center as the center fielder comes in to catch it, and we are done. Game over. No runs. Both sides go 1, 2, 3 in the 7th, and the final score is Kansas City 2, Santa Fe 1 on innings 1 alone. All right, there you go. So that's a look at the Rallyfield rules in action, and I like it. It brings a twist, and it's a fairly fast-moving game. So let me know what you think.